You are 13 years old, standing outside a closed door, about to break the only promise that ever mattered to you. Behind that door is a counselor who can help your best friend. The trouble is, your best friend begged you not to come. Her name was Sam, and you met her in the 4th grade over a single broken crayon. You both wanted the same blue, so you snapped it clean in half, and that was that. By middle school, you had a system. She took the left earbud, you took the right. One song, 2 heads bent together on the late bus, the city sliding by in the dark. Sam was funny in a way that surprised teachers, and she drew tiny comics in the margins of your notes. She gave you a name in those comics, a superhero version of you, braver than you had ever been. You knew her house better than your own. The 3rd stair creaked. Her mom worked nights. You knew which mug was hers, which jokes were old, which silences meant leave it alone. Then, the fall you turned 13, Sam got quieter in a new way. Not the leave it alone quiet, a quiet like a house with the power shut off. She stopped drawing in the margins. Your notes went blank and white. She wore the same gray hoodie for a week, sleeves pulled down over her hands. You told yourself it was nothing. Everybody got tired. Everybody had bad weeks. But you knew her silences, remember, and this one had no bottom. One Tuesday, she did not get on the bus. You saved her the left earbud anyway. You rode the whole way with one ear empty, and it felt like a warning you could not read. That weekend you went to her house. The 3rd stair creaked under you like always. She was sitting on her floor with a sock in her lap, and she was not crying. "I want to show you something," she said, "but you have to swear." So you swore. You always swore. That was the whole language of being 13. From the sock, she poured a small handful of pills into her palm. She had been saving them, she said, a little at a time, so no one would notice. "I'm not going to do it today," she told you. "I just needed one person to know." She looked lighter, saying it. You felt the floor drop out from under you. "Promise you won't tell," she said. "You're the only one I trust." And you promised. Of course you promised. You pinky swore on the bedroom floor. You walked home in the cold without your gloves and did not feel them gone. Her secret sat in your chest like a swallowed stone, too big to bring back up. That night you lay in bed doing math you did not want to do. If you told, you would lose her. If you did not tell, you might lose her more. You thought about the comic version of you, the brave one she had invented. You wondered if brave meant keeping her secret or breaking it. At school she seemed almost normal, and that scared you most of all. People who have decided something get quiet and calm. You had read that somewhere. You tried to talk her out of it on the walk home, gently, sideways. She squeezed your hand and said, "I already feel better, now that you know." But better did not put the pills back in the bottle. It just made you the bottle. You were 13 and holding another person's life in your 2 small hands. You almost told 3 times. Each time her face stopped you, how she would look at you. Betrayer, the word you would be, the word you could not stand to be to her. Wednesday she gave you her blue crayon comic, the last one she ever drew you. In it, your superhero was flying away from the city, getting smaller and smaller. You stared at that drawing for a long time. It read like a goodbye. That was the night the math finally stopped. A dead friend cannot forgive you, but a living one might. The next morning you did not get on the bus. You walked to school early instead. You stood outside the counselor's door with your whole body shaking. You thought, once I open this, I can never close it. Once I say it, it is said. Then you thought about the left earbud and the empty seat, and you knocked. The words came out wrong and small. "My friend has pills. She has been saving them." The counselor's face changed, and the room got very quiet, and it was done. They asked her name. You gave it. That was the betrayal, right there, one word, her name. Saying it felt like handing over something that was not yours to give. They moved fast after that. A phone call. Her mom pulled from a night shift. You sat in the hallway on a cold tile floor and waited to find out what you had done. They found the pills in the sock, exactly where she had shown you. A counselor said, quietly, that you may have saved her life. You did not feel saved. Sam did not come to school for 2 weeks, then a month. You heard she was somewhere getting help. You heard she was safe. You heard it secondhand. You wrote her letters you never sent. You started 40 of them in the blue notebook. Every one of them said the same thing under the words, "Please don't hate me for saving you." When she came back, she had cut her hair, and she looked through you like glass. You said her name in the hallway. She kept walking, and the hall kept going. You learned a new kind of quiet that year, the kind aimed straight at you. She switched her seat on the bus. The left earbud stayed in your pocket, dead. Once, only once, she spoke to you, by the lockers after the bell. You promised, she said. 2 words. Not loud. Worse than loud. You were going to die, you said, and your voice broke on the last word. That was mine to decide, she said. And you took it. You wanted to say you would do it again. You wanted to say you were sorry. Both were true. You said nothing, because both being true is a thing words cannot hold. She walked away, and that was the last full sentence she ever gave you. You stood by the lockers until the next bell, learning to breathe around it. Years went by the way they do, fast in the middle, slow at the edges. You grew up. You moved. You kept her last comic folded in a book you never lent out. You heard things, the way you do in a small town. Sam graduated. Sam moved away. Sam was okay. Sam was studying to be a nurse. Sam was alive, alive, alive. Every alive was a small door opening and closing in your chest at once. You had been right. You had saved her, and it had cost you exactly everything you meant to keep. You saw her once more, 8 years later, across a grocery store parking lot. She was loading bags into a car, laughing at something on her phone. She looked well. She looked like a person who got to grow up. Because she did. You stood by your cart and did not call her name. You had learned not to. For 1 second she glanced up, and your eyes met across all that asphalt. Something crossed her face, not a smile, not a frown. Just knowing. Just the past. Then she got in her car, and she drove away, alive, into a life you were not in. You stood there a long time, the way you stood by the lockers once, learning to breathe. People ask if you would do it again, tell on your best friend, break the only promise that mattered. You think of the sock, the small handful, the floor dropping out. You say yes. You always say yes. That night you put in your earbuds, both of them now, because there is no one to give the left one to. And somewhere across the country, a nurse you snapped a crayon with is alive enough to hate you. You saved her, and you lost her, and you have made a kind of peace with the size of that trade. Some loves you keep by holding on. Hers you kept the only way you could, by letting her be alive without you.